What's up? Welcome back to my channel, or for the first time if you're new, I'm Sylvan, and today I'm going to be reacting to Fruits Basket Episode 6. After last episode, I'm very excited to keep moving through the series, so I'm not going to delay things at all. Feel free to like and subscribe if you enjoy the video, leave a comment on your thoughts, and let's get into this. Alright, a culture festival. That was something that was brought up in a previous episode. So it's happening, okay. Seems to be going as planned. Oh god, yeah. Wait. Oh my god! Why? Why did they dress him up like that? Oh, that is so funny, but so cruel. How does he feel about that? How does Yuki feel? Oh, I only just realized that this is probably Yuki at his garden here. That's a nice touch. And based on that, it would seem that the roof is Kyo's place of general hangout. I'm very curious to see how this will go, because with last episode, we've sort of solidified that we aren't in a transient state anymore. It isn't like Toru isn't temporarily living with them anymore. That is the status quo now. But I'm curious to see if they will immediately shake that up or not again. I imagine they'll let us have some time to sort of settle into it, but they could still introduce some more characters. Or they could just sort of stick with this culture festival or whatever. Either way, we shall see. The ending here, the vocals they're great. That's so good. Yep, back to this. Okay. The fan club is looking out for him. Oh my god. That is insane. I mean, fair. I think you might just be in a bad mood in general. Ah, okay. Oh god, she's going to thought crimes. Yeah. Oh. Oh yeah. They were they did pick up that thing about the culture festival. Makes sense that they're here. Honestly, I'd forgotten about them. Oh. I'm pretty sure this person is in the opening, so yeah, okay, probably Soma's. Okay, Momoji Soma. Alright, yeah. Okay. Two in one. Something tells me yeah. You never know. Oh, okay. Oh, okay. Jesus Christ, this guy. Toru really has become sort of the talk of the clan. Huh. All right. Oh my god. No, they're beginning to pick up on things. Okay. What is with her in the waves? How old is this kid? Not that really matters, but. So they can speak Japanese. They just presumably are bilingual and prefer their first language. Okay. Interesting. Just saying it out loud and at the school. What? Glomping? Alright, so this is the kind of character this kid is gonna be. Oh my god. Literally, literally no restraint. This kid is so. What? What? Okay. Drawing attention away. Yeah, doing a good job there. Yeah, Jesus. Okay. Yeah. Huh. What? The fucking stick figures? Oh, okay. For what? The outfit is insane. Fill in the blank. Oh my god. Why why did he have to trick them like that? Yeah, no, that's rough. Fair. Yeah, some do. Want to look strong for her. Fair. Yeah. Yeah. Hmm. Yeah, but I mean, yeah, to an extent at least. Hmm. Who it comes from matters. Yeah, that is what it is, I suppose. So that's why it's on like that. Hmm. I think it would look good. Hmm. Wow. Being very open with that. Nice. Okay. I love the song that's playing here, honestly, as well. Yeah, yeah. He's not holding back. He's saying he's saying that he thinks you would look nice in the outfit. He thinks you look nice. Oh, yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Oh. So he might try to do something about that without like permission or anything, or has a secret mission. Okay, fair, concerning. Okay. Of course, that's what they'd think it would be. Oh my god. I mean, that works to pivot away from the actual secret, but. Yeah. Good to see that her friends are, like, actually trying to make sure she's okay. Yeah, they seem to actually care about her, so. Jesus, okay. Oh. Interesting to see them not in their school outfits. Ooh, what's this track? As long as they don't hug each other. Wave girl. Oh my god. That's what's gonna happen here. It's just gonna be scare after scare after scare, isn't it? Oh, okay. I don't know if we heard about that before. At least if we did. Oh, she didn't know. Yeah, okay. We definitely didn't know then. Oh, okay, okay, okay. Impressed with everything, pretty much. Yeah. Oh? Hmm. All right. Now it's just the four of them. Yeah. Hmm. Oh, okay. They've known each other since then. Hmm. Yeah, I imagine. She's not good at communication. But it's not because she doesn't trust you. Not because of that. It's because she thinks too much of you. Yeah. Let alone anything. Following back to the fact that Yuki wanted to join in that. That's a really solid callback. Huh. Nice. Yeah. So is this the head clan household? Interesting. Okay. Interesting comparison point there with that phrase. Okay, I'm gonna want to touch on that. Really got into the game. Oh, wow. What is it, Kyo? Yeah, learned that last time. Hmm. God, that's rough. That's really fucking rough. Oh, that's so totally Yuki. Or Kyo, one of the two. Oh, just want somewhere to belong, just want to be included. Oh, god damn it. But she kept chasing. Huh, guiding her somewhere. And then gave the hat. That haircut looks more like Yuki. Oh, wow. How'd they know where? God. Not yet, as far as you know. So was that Kyo or was it Yuki? I'm leaning towards Yuki, but oh, looking back, realizing that, yeah, yes, you have. Accept that. You may be lucky now, but you've had a rough life. I mean, that you do. That you do. And them being here is a proof that they care about you. Yeah, but you can still recognize the things that, God, you can still recognize the things that you lack while being grateful for what you have. But that's what she needed to hear in this moment. Yeah. And perhaps that's what can earn their trust the best. Nice. That's wholesome. I love that. Straight out of the carton. Yeah. Not great manners. Wow, she's perceptive. Oh my god. Yeah, they have made such threats before. Okay. Hmm. Aw. Aw. In a way, yeah, they have been very parent-like. Okay. She can pick up something's off. Yeah. Yeah, despite their strange attitudes, you could say, sort of outsider nature, they are good people. They are kind people. All right, who's calling? Is it Shigure calling back home? Hmm. Oh, Hattori. Yeah. Oh. Okay. Oh, that's an issue. Yeah, but if she doesn't go, it could cause issues. Yeah, exactly. Okay. Oh. Okay. Meet the head of the clan. All right, so as largely has been the case so far in these episodes, this episode has a very strong focus and it is a character-centric one. Though the beginning and very end of this episode serve a different purpose, which is more grand storyline and lore and character stuff, the centerpiece of this episode very much is on Toru's two closest friends. Her realistically only friends outside of the Soma household, as far as we've seen. She gets along well enough with other people, it seems like, but she isn't by any means hypersocial. And more so than just a focus on them, it is a focus on their friendship with Toru. And with this episode, I wouldn't say that we necessarily get more about their characters. Pretty much everything that happened in this episode can be intuited from previous points in the series. From their very first introduction in episode 1, we knew that both Hana and Uo were both very protective of Toru, defending her against anybody who would try to mess with her or bully her or anything, and that they clearly care about her a lot. She helps them out, they help her out. Very solid little relationship going on there, but really what we get here is the further confirmation that that mutual aid and help and love is born out of love. It's not out of convenience and what Toru can benefit them with, as much as it is they just legitimately care about each other. Of course, we know that Toru cares about them. That's just the kind of person she is. If she's gonna call someone a friend, she's going to mean it. But though it is no surprise, we get here truly the extents that they're willing to go to make sure that Toru is okay. In many ways, they act very parental here, to the point that in sort of a joke near the end, it gets called out. And I very much appreciate that they were able to pick up that something is different. As close friends of Toru, they can recognize that she's acting different. It's not that she's just happening to run into scenarios where she's interacting with Yuki and Kyo more, but the fact that they notice that difference shows that they really do sort of pay attention to Toru, make sure she's okay, that kind of thing. When they question her about if she's all right, what secret she's keeping, because they can tell, she, in trying to avoid telling one secret and make sure that they think she's okay, reveals the other big secret, being she's living with them. No, don't worry, I'm not dating Yuki, I'm just living at his house, which obviously brings up a lot of questions. But the way that they so immediately pivot to, okay, we'll join you at their house for a night and see what they're like to make sure that they are okay people that won't cause any problems for you, which is where they're sort of shifting into that more parental position. But I feel like the most important and notable part of this entire episode in relation to Hana and Uo and the reason they're here is their conversation when it's just them and Yuki and Kyo, as well as the sort of resolution to that coming later when Toru is talking about them. Because it's the moment where Hana and Uo get their first sign that perhaps they are a good household for Toru to be living in. And within that, the most pertinent thing, which I feel like is the strongest emotional moment really, is what I believe Uo, I'm still figuring out their two names and who's who, but I believe it's Uo, the blonde one, in beginning to question Kyo and Yuki, she brings up how they have vowed to make sure Toru is okay. And within that, we get a bit of a flashback to what can only be her mother's funeral, I imagine, which shows us they have been around for Toru for a while. They weren't necessarily there for her in elementary school, as that seems like when she was mainly bullied, but probably since meeting in like middle school or something like that, they have been there for her, especially after the death of her mother. And it's when they acknowledge that Toru is the first friend either of them ever had. They are outsiders as well. Just like how I was talking last episode about how Yuki, Kyo, and Toru are all outsiders in their own ways, Hana and Uo are also outsiders. More explicitly so, it's more like a key part of their character that they respectively are sort of the weird girl and the delinquent, at least in vibes. And so whatever the circumstance was of Toru becoming their friends, based on Toru as a character, I likely think that it has to do with her being drawn to them because she wants to make sure people are included. She doesn't want people to be left out of things, that kind of thing. And so in being the first person to befriend them, Toru means a lot to them. And I really appreciate this little brief backstory bit, this little flashback, because though, once again, it's all stuff that we could realistically figure out for ourselves by this point, showing us truly they have been there for her, and they have been there for her through her mother's death, her most vulnerable moment, and they continue to be there for her. In all likelihood, because they never want to see her in that position again. But on top of that, because Toru was their first friend, they care about her a lot and hope that she would care about them a lot, and hope that Toru would be willing to rely on them as well. And inevitably, in learning that she is living at, as far as they knew, a stranger's house, that inevitably would lead to the question, why didn't she seek help from us? Why didn't she ask one of us if she could stay at one of our houses? It may not have been ideal, this might be, technically speaking, a better place, but we are her closest friends. Why didn't she reach out to us? There is a level of betrayal that can be felt there. And so in part, when they are questioning Kyo and Yuki in this moment, it is simultaneously them attempting to see, is this a safe environment for Toru, but also, why did she choose this place rather than asking one of us? Is there something wrong with us? Does Toru not trust us? But immediately, both Yuki and Kyo are on the same page on this, saying she's not that kind of person. More specifically, she isn't the type to ask for the moon. She does not ask for much. She does not sweat the small stuff. Though they don't specifically say this, the reason she didn't go to her friends, we know, is because she did not want to pressure them. The reason she didn't go to them is because she cared too much about them to hinder them in any way. Of course, that isn't necessarily healthy. You should be able to rely on your friends. It's much better to do so than to live in the woods in a tent, but that is the reason. It's because she cared about them that she didn't. And at least to some extent, Yuki and Kyo recognize that and try to acknowledge that to Hana and Uo. And this doesn't necessarily fully seek in this moment, because Toru comes back very quickly. They start playing Rich Man, Poor Man, which is a great callback to that episode where Yuki had said, next time we play, can I be involved, basically? And this is Toru following up on that promise, which is just a nice touch. But the moment where the words of Kyo and Yuki sink in, and what make Hana and Uo realize they are good people, we can trust them with Toru and taking care of her, is when they are getting ready for bed, and Toru starts talking about how much she cares about them, how much they mean to her. Despite everything she's gone through, once again, Toru is talking about how lucky she is, how grateful she is for everything in her life. The fact that she's able to live with the Somas, the fact that she has two incredibly good friends who care about her. And it's that moment where those words from Yuki and Kyo click, and they realize, yes, they understand her. They know what we know, and simultaneously removes any worry that they had about Toru not trusting them. And so with that one moment, all of their fears are gone. Maybe not all, but at least enough to be comfortable leaving her here. They're gonna come back to make sure everything's all right, figure out what's off about the Somas, but they are willing to trust Toru to Yuki and Kyo. But beyond that, still talking about major character moments and developments, the other main moment is wrapped within all of this. When Toru tells the story to Hana and Uo about the time that she got this hat that she has, about how she had been bullied, chased around, she was hiding, not wanting to be seen crying, but then was spotted by a child wearing this hat, who suddenly ran off and she chased after out of just a almost instinctual fear of loneliness, fear of abandonment. Once again, that is at the core of her fears and hangups, is that abandonment. And so she chases after him desperately. She falls, she gets scraped up, she does not stop though. And this kid, though in a very distant and mysterious manner, guides her home. How he knew where her home was, who's to say, but he does it nonetheless. And they intentionally obscure the kid's face, likely because Toru does not remember their face, which means that it's sort of hard to say who exactly they were. But given that Kyo is overhearing this story, and just narrative storytelling in general, in my mind, it has to be either Yuki or Kyo. I feel like it very much could be Kyo, hence why he's the one overhearing it, but I also feel like if it was him, it would make sense for him to have a bit more of a reaction. So, though I acknowledge it very much could still be either of them, I more am inclined to think that it is Yuki. Admittedly, thinking about it, though this does not stop it from being Yuki, Yuki did dig up all of her stuff once it got buried in the first episode, meaning he likely has seen the hat, meaning that if he remembers doing this at all, he would recognize the hat and piece those two things together, which doesn't necessarily mean anything, but it means when this hat and this story is inevitably brought up again, we shall see if it was Yuki or not based on if he remembers it at all or if he recognizes the hat. But realistically, it could mean slightly different things based on who has seen the hat and who hasn't at this point. Realistically speaking, both Yuki and Kyo are now aware of the hat in all likelihood. Realistically, only the one who did this would have any chance of understanding the impact of it, but it's a thing to keep an eye out for. Another thing that makes it complicated and not clear which one it is just the fact that realistically this is the kind of thing that I could see either of them doing. Both of them have issues with getting close to people and such, and both aren't great with showing their true feelings, so realistically could be either of them. But it is an interesting thing and very pertinent that I forget who it was, but one of the two friends, Hana or Uo, who basically sort of jokingly more than anything says, oh hey, if you meet them again, you might fall in love or whatever. I forget the exact line, I can't find it quickly here. But the important detail here, I think, is previously we had Toru ponder to herself, I have never really felt true, like, love for anybody, other than familial love or love for friends, but I have not felt romantic love. But it's here that she realizes, maybe I have. Maybe that boy who helped me get home when I was crying and alone and gave me this hat to comfort me, maybe that was my first love. Maybe I fell in love with him then, which is an interesting development. It's this retroactive realization of how much that moment meant to her, which certainly means that when she learns, if she ever does, presumably she will at some point, who it was who did that, whether it was Yuki or Kyo or secretly someone else, that's going to be a wild card scenario, almost certainly that will be either one of the first or one of the last dominoes to fall in her realizing her feelings for Yuki or Kyo. But beyond all of these character moments, we also have realistically two character introductions. I'm not really counting Momoji's initial appearance as a true introduction, because realistically this is where he actually introduces himself and we meet them properly. And these characters are, as I mentioned, Momoji and Hattori. As I suspected, Momoji is half Japanese, half German. I didn't specifically call out German, but based on the fact that they were speaking German, as several of you pointed out, which I appreciate, it makes sense for them to still be half Japanese to be part of the Somas. Not that surprising that that's the case. Good to have the confirmation though. And realistically, their introductions are very fast, very sort of abrupt, and leave just about as quickly as they come. And to start with Momoji, to sort of separate them out, is certainly a character. I can very much tell what their role in the story is the wild card, the one who stirs up trouble. Not necessarily intentionally, they just seem like they are that carefree and oblivious to the issues they can cause. They only obscured by a single curtain in a room full of people who don't know about the secret, willingly and intentionally hugs Toru, turning into a rabbit, with no clear concern of the consequences. it requires Yuki doing a desperate play to distract people to not get them caught. Very clearly, Momiji is emotion and impulse first, reason second, maybe even third. But beyond that, we don't really get much of them. The real main thing we learn about them is that they're the child of the CEO and owner of the building that Toru works at, which is interesting. It means that Toru's life is unintentionally even more tied into the Somas, no matter how indirectly. Though she is only in the most tangential of ways working for this person, Momoji's father, as presumably a member of the Somas, it's possible, admittedly, that they are on the German side, but he's the CEO of a business in Japan, so I'm assuming the Japanese side there. Could be wrong, but that's my assumption. That would imply they are the Soma of the family. And so that would mean that very indirectly, but still connected nonetheless, Toru has been working for someone connected to the Soma household. Well, to the clan at least, which is interesting. I'm curious to see how that develops. If we will ever meet Momoji's father, if they're a member of the Zodiac, that kind of thing. But then we have Hattori, who is basically the opposite of Momiji. Not in the sense of they're like hyper careful or anything, but they are a doctor. They seem well composed. They are muted in their general attitude. Emotion is not something I would ever use to describe them based on what we have seen. We have not seen any emotion out of him other than maybe confusion. And it seems like he is basically the doctor of the household. And among other things, he is here to make sure that Yuki is okay, that he is fine, do a quick checkup on him, because he hasn't been showing up to his monthly check-ins prior to now. For however long, who knows? He might have only missed one, maybe more. We know that Yuki is not fond of the Soma clan, so it makes sense that he's avoiding them. But more specifically, we learn that the reason he's here is because Akito, which I believe is supposed to be the leader of the clan, if I remember correctly, wanted to come but currently is sick, so he's going in his stead. It's because of this meeting that we learn that he is the person responsible for memory wiping or whatever goes on to remove the memories of the people who learn about the Soma secret. And because of that, Yuki becomes very protective of Toru. Though they don't necessarily have any reason to specifically be concerned that he will do something, Yuki is understandably being very careful and protective, saying to Toru, hey, you should be careful around Hattori. Don't ever be alone with him. We don't know what he'll do. Which that then sets up the end of the episode, essentially serving as a bit of a Chekhov's gun, as she calls the Soma household and tells Toru, who picks up, I need you, Toru, to come in secret to the main household of the Soma clan, which sets up presumably the scenario and tension of next episode. Obviously, from a story standpoint, I don't expect Toru to have her memory altered or anything next episode, but it is possible that something will happen and then have to be rectified. But at this point, Hattori is serving more so as a exposition device and antagonist figure almost. We don't know if he will stay that way, but he is set up to potentially be that. With really the only details we have on him, other than him being a doctor, is in this final scene during the phone call, we can see on his desk a picture of someone, which I believe is a woman, but it's blurry enough that we can't tell who it is, which is interesting. There's someone in his life that he cares about enough that he has a picture of them. If I were to throw out a wild guess with no real proof, I would not be surprised if that is someone he cares about but had to wipe the memory of or something. Someone he grew close to, learned the secret, and then he had to wipe their memory, and that serves as a tragic memory for him or something. If I were to write this and give him some tragic backstory that allows him to have a moment where he realizes like why he shouldn't wipe Toru's memory or something like that, add some drama to everything, some tension to his own decision, that's the angle I'd probably go for. So we'll probably see soon if that is the case, but that's just sort of a wild guess, no real proof behind it. And beyond that, realistically, the only thing I want to call out now is the interaction that Yuki and Toru have on the roof. It's when Yuki is saying that he doesn't like being called cute, he feels like it's demeaning, and Toru, stumbling through her words, says, oh, but I think when they are saying you're cute, it's because they like you. It's them saying, we like you. And she uses her memory of her mother as that reasoning. Her mother would call her cute constantly, and she understood that that essentially was the same as saying I love you. And so she views it the same way here. And she says that she also finds Yuki cute in the outfit. So with those two associations, it's her accidentally sort of saying, I care about you, I like you. If you want to extrapolate it out more extremely than it's even ever intended, I love you. And of course, she's fumbling over her words, but it does impact Yuki. He seems to have his mind changed by this. He decides that he can tough through it a little bit longer and that he doesn't mind it when she says it. Before then to her saying, I think you'd look great in this outfit. You'd look cute. You'd look beautiful. Which is realistically the most forward about his feelings he has pretty much ever been. And it is a direct show of affection, essentially, to Toru. And though Toru doesn't necessarily process this as a strong realization that he has feelings for her, she does freak out a bit because of it, because a pretty boy who is one of the most like attractive boys in school just told her that he thinks she's cute. No matter what, if you think they have feelings for you or not, that is going to freak you out and make you embarrassed and flustered when you are at that age. That is just the case. It's just sort of a notable moment, I feel like, to call out as they begin to get closer and closer and closer. Between Yuki and Kyo, Yuki is the one who is doing a better job of showing his true self, his true feelings to Toru. Though he has his trauma-based reluctance to grow too close to people, Toru is breaking through those barriers, and so he is becoming more and more receptive to sharing his own feelings, where Kyo still has a lot of barriers to break down. At this point, realistically, I would consider it that Kyo is still having trouble bringing down his barriers for anybody. It's just that he accidentally does sometimes around Toru. It's less consciously done, but it does happen, where Yuki still is struggling to show his true feelings and emotions around other people in general, but Toru is the one person he is beginning to feel comfortable around to do that. It's much more conscious for him. But with that, I think realistically I've touched on just about everything I want to in this episode. There's a few other like tidbits of information we get, but nothing that really I think is worth bringing up and discussing. So I will leave things there. Feel free to like and subscribe if you enjoyed the video, leave a comment on your thoughts, and I hope you all have a great day. Goodbye.